Welcome to this new session about rendering, devoted to the rendering effects related to materials. Let's start by uploading the work.start model that we'll use as example. We open it and define first some initial settings. From face selection, we select solid. To get a better visualization, we deselect dynamic highlighting. Then we activate the panel for the management of the predefined views and we place it. In this model, we have a table with several objects of different materials and arranged in random order that we will use to see how it's possible with ThinkDesign settings of the materials to give objects a realistic look to get high-quality images. We zoom in, select all objects, and edit their properties. We modify the tessellation parameters. We set the parameters to custom, then set both surface tolerance and boundary tolerance to 0.1 mm and leave surface accuracy set to 100%. Then we apply changes and confirm by OK. Fit view. At this step, we set the rendering mode to high quality. Let's widen the left pane and move the panel of the predefined views. To improve the scene, we upload a light system different from the predefined ones. We select the rendering library and the Light Studio tab. Let's now select a new light system. In Predefine, we select Exterior and choose Sun with Fill. To make it actual, we double-click it and the light will be loaded in our environment. Let's close our library and place again the panel of predefined views. We can further improve the appearance of our object by choosing a different image for the background from Format, Environment. Let's change the background image from the default one, Studio Gray, and by Browse, we choose the image called Studio Spot Floor 3SX, where SX stands for left. We open it. It's an image with a color which simulates a three-dimensional environment. Now we apply it in stretch mode so that it occupies all the graphics area, and we confirm. We are ready to go now. We are gonna see how to use the predefined libraries of materials that we will apply to our objects. First of all, let's introduce the objects. A ballpoint pen, a vernier caliper, a drawing sheet, a coffee mug, a gear shaft, a couple of wrenches, and a table. We hide them all except one, the table, from which we'll start. We set as current the table component, made up of two solids, the top and the frame. We don't need any more the panel of the predefined views, so we can close it. Now, let's choose the material for these two objects. We want a wooden table with a varnished metal frame. We open the rendering library, select the Material tab, and choose among the predefined materials. In Materials of Nature type, we find the wooden materials. We go to the Varnished folder, where we can see the material previews. We choose Varnished Oak and drag it over the top. This way, we have set the material for this object. Now, let's move to Coatings and select Industrial Coatings, Powder Coatings. Then we choose Green Metal that we'll apply to our table by right-clicking on Attach, and we're going to manually select the solid to which we will attach the material. From the rendering section of the model structure, we can see the two materials applied to our object: varnished oak for the top, green metal for the frame. We reset current component, and we see the ray tracing rendering preview of the table we modified to see how it looks like. We close the library and proceed by inserting our objects. We are going to show one more object, the coffee mug. We unhide the component and set it as current. We select Fit View so that we are placed close to the object. Once more, we exploit the library of materials. This time we select crystal and glass. We select the refractive section and choose clear glass. We apply this material to the mug to get a transparent material. As for contents, instead, we'll choose a liquid material in liquids, water in this case, and apply the liquid to the material inside the mug. Now we see the rendering preview of our object. To get an idea of the final result, shadows are projected on objects to give a more realistic effect, and reflections are applied. We have seen the coffee mug. We reset the current component and unhide some metallic type objects, the branches and the gear shaft. Let's define first the gear shaft, so we'll set current. Once more, we enter the Fit View so that we can see the object in the current viewport. We'll see the material is already set to structural steel, which is a predefined material. We can apply materials with different effects. For instance, in the library of the default materials, in steel, we have several types of steel finish. Among these, we get one, steel, which is a shiny finish. We apply it to our object. Let's now set wrenches as current. We see that the material as well is set to structural steel. Let's display better the branches. Now we go to the Rendering Libraries panel. In Metals, we find a section devoted to metal finishes. Let's go, for instance, to the finishes of plating type, where we find a chrome plate finish that will apply to our objects. We apply it to the first wrench and to the second one. In the model structure of the branches, we know that the material has switched to chrome plate. Now we close the library, reset the current component. We zoom out a little bit, then we display the rendering preview of our objects. We have just to select Fit View to display all the objects that were modified. And finally, we save the result we have got so far.